Yo, what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we are once again back on Modern Warfare, and I wanted to share with you guys some tips and tricks that involve the minimap. I know a lot of players end up staring at that minimap when you get a UAV, and there's actually a couple different things that you can use that minimap for other than having UAV, where you can essentially figure out where the other team is at pretty much all times during the game. So hopefully this video will help some of you guys to get more kills and hopefully not die as much. So the first tip that I want to share with you guys is always pay attention to where your teammates are on the minimap. This will essentially give you almost a full-time UAV. If you're playing a game mode like Team Deathmatch or Hardpoint, it's very easy to determine where the enemy team is going to be based on where your teammates' positions are. So if you guys actually take a glance at that minimap every now and again, even when you don't have a UAV, and you notice that your team is spawning on one specific side of the map, you will obviously know that the other team is on the other side of the map. Now, this is something that I use a lot when I'm playing objective-based game modes. You really want to pay attention to where your teammates are spawning, not necessarily where they're at all times, because obviously players are going to run in every which way they could possibly go. But when you look at that minimap and catch a glance of where your teammates are spawning, you can essentially pinpoint exactly where the enemy team is going to be spawning, especially this late into the game cycle. We've been playing Modern Warfare for quite some time. Most of you guys probably know how all of the spawn works, and all the spawns work in pretty much any game mode. So paying attention to where your teammates are spawning, which way they're running, it's very easy to figure out where enemies are going to be. For example, if I'm playing a game mode like TDM and I find myself not anywhere near my teammates on the minimap, I'm pretty positive I'm going to be around the entire enemy team. So I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. But it's just a quick tip that a lot of people really need to start doing more, because I find myself even just running around the map and not even looking at it and paying attention to where I'm at. So make sure that you're paying attention to where you're at based on where your teammates' locations are at all times during the game, so that you have a much better shot of finding the enemy players. Now, the second tip is kind of countering that, and that's to not stare at the minimap too long during a UAV. This is something that I still continue to do, and it's a struggle. It's kind of a hard habit to break, and I know a lot of players do this as well, where when you get a UAV, you end up staring at the minimap, waiting to see where that little red dot is going to go. And unfortunately, it only refreshes every couple seconds, and it doesn't show movement. So if they're sprinting, the UAV is going to pop. It's going to show you where they were at that exact millisecond, and they might already be like 20 feet away from that spot now because they're running. So make sure that you're not staring at the minimap if you're near a red dot. Wait for it to ping. As soon as it pings, move in and be aware that they might be running towards you. They might be running away from you. This is where that sound and having the headset comes into play. But don't stare at the minimap, because one of the problems that I used to have back in the day is I would just stare at the minimap waiting for the red dot to get close to me, and by the time I saw it get on top of me on the minimap, they were already there shooting at me. And it can be a real struggle if you're staring at the minimap for too long. So if you guys do get a UAV, make sure that you're not constantly staring at it, because you might end up getting killed and not really be aware of what's going on. So play it slow when you have a UAV, and just really don't stare at the minimap too long in general. Even if you don't have a UAV, don't catch yourself just staring at it for more than a few seconds, or you might get shot. But the third tip that I wanted to share with you is to use the objectives to know enemy spawn. So this works well in the objective game modes. Obviously in Search and Destroy and Cyber Attack, you're going to know where everyone is going to spawn, because it happens every round and you switch sides all the time. But in a game mode like Domination or Hardpoint, you're going to have spawns flip nonstop. I think Domination is the best example. And paying attention to that minimap and realizing when flags are being captured, or when your teammates are spawning on a flag that's owned by the enemy, that's when you can really tell where spawns are going to start happening. You don't necessarily need to see a flag being taken to understand that the enemy team is spawning over there. If you manage to catch your entire team spawning, or one player spawning, or your team just generally being on the side of the map where the other team has controlled the flag, there's a really good chance that the other team is going to be spawning on your flag. So paying attention to those objectives, who's taking what, where your teammates are spawning, and where they're going around those objectives, make it much easier to figure out where the enemy team is spawning and where they're going to be going. So you can cut them off, or you can make a play before they even realize what's going on. So just a few tips that you can use for the minimap. I wanted to make this video because I know a lot of people don't really pay attention to that minimap, and you can actually use that to your advantage a lot here in this game. So if you guys have any questions or any other tips or tricks that you use when it comes to using that minimap, please make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure and check those out. But I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.